This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Roderick Bowe has led the Royal Bahamas Defence Force for the past 5 years as Commodore. But as of March 2nd, he joined the ranks at BAMAR as Director of Security.
Since then, questions have sparked surrounding his departure from the country's defense force and the relationship between he and the government. Recently, he broke his silence, speaking exclusively with our Clint Watson on the terms and conditions of his separation and re-engagement.
I've asked the government to allow me to demit office after doing 32 and a half years in the defense force.
And according to former Commodore of the Royal Bahamas Defence Force, Roderick Bowe, his request was approved by the government, making way for him to seek gainful employment elsewhere. He's clear that when he took over 5 years ago, his plan was to serve 1 5-year term only. Since then, he says the Defence Force now has succession planning to ensure a smooth transition. However, Bowe denies being forced out or having some unresolved issue with the government.
So there's no animosity, no ill will or feelings of that sort between myself or the government. The Minister and I had very good conversations leading up to today, and the last time that I met with him, we had a very good time, and I'm grateful for him for allowing me to serve for I think it was almost 3 years with him, and we worked well together. I've had numerous meetings with the Prime Minister, and there was nothing, and the Prime Minister said, he seemed always happy with what I did, and so there was no ill will with anybody. It was my plan, and I'm grateful for them allowing me to move on.
Bowe confirmed that he is presently on pre-retirement leave, which means he still receives a salary from the government, although working for BAMAR. The
Defence Act allows for someone who's still employed with the Defence Force to be gainfully employed. I asked in accordance with those regulations, and the government acquiesced to my request. And so there's nothing illegal of what's happening with me working here and being on pre-retirement leave.
How long will you be on pre-retirement?
I think the government will make a decision and announce the new Commander of the Defence Force May 1st.
And then you will just only be employed with BAMAR, receiving income from BAMAR?
Yes. I think it was blown out of proportion by some others, saying that I'm double dipping and all the rest of it. If you know me, I try to do things by the book, and so the regulations I'm quite aware of the regulations in the force, and so I made sure that I followed those regulations.
Bowe now holds the position of Director of Shared Services Security, which means he leads security for the 4 hotels, along with former Deputy Commissioner of Police Quinn McCartney, who is BAMAR's Director of Campus Security. Both former law enforcement heads report to a familiar colleague, former Deputy Commissioner of Police Marvin Dames, who is BAMAR's Vice President of Security.
Together, I think collectively, we work in concert and we'll get a lot done.
Now, Roderick Bowe is looking forward to at least wearing that Defence Force uniform one more time during the handover ceremony once a new Commodore is named in May. He's hoping that he will be given the honor of putting on the uniform one more time and bidding the country farewell. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
A woman tonight is hospitalized in critical condition following a house fire in the Yonder Road area. We understand that police officers were patrolling when residents told them that a woman was trapped inside a burning home. Firefighters got the call around 11 and were told that when they arrived on the scene within 6 minutes. Fortunately, they were able to battle through the blaze to pull the unconscious woman out. A medical emergency team was called and she was taken to hospital. A forest fire near Marshall Road is still challenging police fire services tonight and residents of the Faith and Pastel Gardens subdivision and those surrounding areas as well. Jared Higgs visited the area where residents say the fire continues.
A forest blaze near the communities of Faith and Pastel Gardens continue to cause concern for area residents. Fire Chief Superintendent Walter Evans says officers from the police fire services have been tackling the blaze since Sunday afternoon. The cause, however, is still under investigation.
We do not know the cause of this blaze, and we are continuing to investigate, and we are asking members of the public just to continue to bear with us as we continue to do our best in regard to ensuring that this fire does not cause no significant damage to any of the homes or any of the properties in the area.
Burnt trees and bush line the back fence of area resident Philip Bethel's home. And while small pockets of smoke can be seen near the back fence, Bethel says the scent is becoming a burden.
Right now, it's just a smell from the fire that seems to just continue on. Then we had a little burning further back. So far, it seems to be like it. I don't know if it's getting better, but just the smell.
Another resident, Ed Brister, says the threat of the blaze is also taking its toll.
I haven't slept from yesterday because the fire kept reigniting, and it was every couple of minutes the fire blazed back up. Someone had to come out and do something, so that's what I had to do.
Brister also says he was able to clear down some of the bush at the rear of his property. Superintendent Walter Evans says that's a good idea.
If we have the ability to ensure that the bushes are removed, there are some persons who may have the resources that they can hire a heavy-duty machine such as a tractor to clear away some of the bushes, and that will help in assisting that to ensure that the fire does not come in contact with their homes. We also are asking them if they begin to see flying embers where that's the sparks, which are to come in contact with their roof. We are asking them just to apply water to their roofs, and that will be one measure by which to ensure that their homes do not catch a fire.
Our news team will continue to follow this developing story. Jared Higgs, ZNS Network News.
Bahamas Union of Teachers top executive Belinda Wilson has been suspended for the second time in a matter of months. Late last year, she, along with Union Treasurer Lorraine Knowles, was suspended for 3 months for alleged misuse of funds. That suspension was later overturned after it was appealed by Wilson. This time, according to Union Secretary General John Musgrove, Wilson and the Treasurer were suspended again for alleged breach of the Union's constitution. Musgrove, who was traveling to Grand Bahama and Abaco today, told ZNS News that Wilson is once again appealing the decision, and he would speak to the matter once the appeals process is completed. Meanwhile, Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald, who had also learned of the suspension, said while union negotiations with government is expected to begin soon, Wilson's absence won't impact the process as government is looking to continue its payment of monies owed to teachers.
Negotiations continue to move forward. There are some funds still owing to teachers. We paid out over $3.5 million. We have about another $1 million that we intend to pay before the close of this budget year. We're finalizing that now, and that will take care of all the backlog for the last 14 or 15 years. And with regard to the financial commitments within the union agreement, we want to come to agreement with those as quickly as possible. And so I'm hoping that we can sit down now and really get to what I consider the meat of the matter for the teachers. I want to make sure that they know what their position is very quickly.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain. The Bahamas has been nominated in 9 categories for the World Travel Awards. They include the Caribbean's leading beach destination, cruise and cruise port, top destination, dive destination, honeymoon haven, leading tourist board, and the most romantic destination. The World Travel Awards were founded in 1993 to recognize, acknowledge, and reward excellence in travel tourism, the tourism industry, and hospitality industry worldwide. The winners will be announced at the award ceremony gala on October 17th in the Turks and Caicos Islands. In other business news, the CEO of Bahamaran welcomed the partnership with Six Renew Company to promote Chinese group travel to the Bahamas, Cuba, and Jamaica. Bahamaran, along with Six Renew Company, is launching an exciting platform that is aimed at selling the Bahamian experience. This partnership focuses strongly on online booking channels, which have become central to Chinese outbound tourism. Bahamaran will unveil plans to build an elite network of travel agents in China that specialize in selling group packages to high-yielding clients from the increasingly lucrative outbound Chinese tourism market. And in international business news, Brent crude oil dropped towards $55 a barrel on Tuesday. Reuters is reporting that this comes as Iran and 6 world powers entered a final day of talks over a nuclear deal that could see the energy-rich country increase oil exports to world markets. By the end of the day, the United States, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and China ramped up the pace of negotiations with Iran and Switzerland over an outline deal on Tehran's nuclear program. Disagreements on enrichment research and the pace of lifting sanctions remained as hurdles that could scupper a deal to end a 12-year standoff between Iran and the West. That was your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Jimenita Swain.
More controversy has surrounded the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. Most recently, reports surfaced that Trinidadian soca singer Machel Montano would headline the event slated for May 7th to the 9th. This news was reportedly widely rejected by those in the local music industry. But Festival Commission Chairman Paul Major, who is in Fort Lauderdale finalizing details for the event, confirmed that while Montano will participate in the event, he is not the headliner.
We're not going to have a headliner per se. We're going to just have a spectacular show of local artists and regional artists. We're also seeking to get a lead Haitian band out of Haiti, a lead Cuban band out of Cuba, and a whole plethora of local artists. It's going to be predominantly Bahamian art.
Two grandmothers of the late Gabrielle McKinney attended a tearful memorial at the Thelma Gibson Primary School this morning.
The 6-year-old, if you remember, died tragically 2 Sundays ago. That's when her mother, Shamika McKinney, drove off the Montague ramp, killing herself, Gabrielle, and her sister. Vaughn Albury was at that special assembly today.
A longing for one more day, one more word, one more touch.
That's Donna Brown, principal of the Thelma Gibson Primary School, with a heavy heart, lamenting the loss of grade 2 student Gabrielle McKinney. That sorrow amplified by Gabrielle's tearful grandmothers and family as they listen to students speak of the void left by a tragic and unexpected death, with powerful words from 6-year-olds not tall enough to reach the podium.
Lord, give us strength in our pain and bring us an abundance of your gentle healing mercies. A place is vacant which never can be filled. God gave us a beautiful friend, a friend who's always there with a helping hand.
The tributes in song and dance did not stop a grandmother's tears from flowing. Gabrielle's teacher, Lana Burrows, says she was an excellent reader, always loving and helpful.
A few of them asked, well, is she coming back next week? Why didn't her mother put on the brakes? Did her mother love her? Why did mom do that to her? You think Gabrielle's okay? Things like that. So it was difficult to answer those questions for them, to see that she died in such a tragic way.
Her desk covered in pink with an Easter bunny, tiara, and a box filled with classmates' letters and pictures. And I will read this one letter from Kiara. It reads, "Dear Gabrielle, I miss you. I hope you are happy where you are. Today, I saw your desk at your old school. It had a pink tablecloth and a bunny on top. I miss you, Gabrielle." And this one simply reads, "Gabrielle, we love you." Reporting from the Thelma Gibson Primary School, I am Vaughn Albury, ZNS Network News.
There is no definitive date for the gender equality referendum, but that has not slowed the Constitutional Commission's educational effort. Members were in Eleuthera this time, holding a forum in Lower Bogue. Cleopatra Murphy has more.
It was a small turnout for residents attending the Constitutional Commission's forum on the proposed gender equality bills Monday night. But North Eleuthera Administrator Jolton Johnson says despite the numbers, the meetings are having an impact. The forum was held at the North Eleuthera High School. Controversy has swirled around Bill 4 that seeks to make it unlawful to discriminate against a person on the basis of being male or female. And while it has been a concern for locals, Johnson believes the commission cleared it up.
They made it so simple. It's so simple that a child at age 5 can understand, and I really want to commend them. And I think the persons who have attended it tonight, they're going back into the community and they're going to disperse this information. And that's why I wish a lot of the pastors would have been here, because they could have gone back to their various churches and just disseminate this information.
Resident Jennifer Ward says she supports equality across the board. Ward says while she heard negativity and misinformation about what the bills represent, she felt the meeting presented a clearer picture.
Words could be taken out of context, but now that I'm here tonight, I'm glad that I found out truly what it really meant. It's just the difference between female and male, having equal rights.
Member of Parliament for North Eleuthera Theo Neely, in the meantime, says he is grateful for the efforts of Commission members.
I came to hear what the people of North Eleuthera had to say and to listen to their voices. I'm a member of Parliament, and this, as their representative, it's really my duty to hear what they're having to say and try to give them some guidance as well. So I'm quite happy, and I'm delighted that the Constitutional Reform Committee is here and presented those 4 amendments to the general public, and at least the people are now informed.
No date has been set for the referendum, but Ward says she will be casting her vote. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.